Hello, my name is Douglas Arner, and this is Looking Back, Looking Forward. This month, I want to talk about some of the recent crises that we've seen, not so much in finance, but in a range of countries around the world. And I think we've highlighted on a number of occasions that from the standpoint of the major issues impacting on finance in this decade, the 2020s, we think that those are going to be dominated by technology, pervasive, scale-changing technologies, by conflicts between fragmentation and globalization, ever-growing geopolitical issues, and finally, from the standpoint of sustainability. And I think while before COVID, there was a wide awareness of the need to focus on sustainable development more broadly, but also from the particular standpoint of sustainability crises, I think it's something that the years of this decade have been highlighting as we go. And if we think about COVID as a health crisis, as a sustainability crisis, I think very much highlighted all around the world, one, the scope and scale of the sorts of sustainability crises like pandemics that we may well see more of around the world. COVID, however, also highlighted the power of digital tools, particularly mobile phones, communication systems, and electronic payments in order to be resilient in the face of those crises. If we think about last year, one of the biggest events of the year was mass flooding across Pakistan. And we saw this not only as a human event, not only as a natural disaster, but one which is now feeding its way into the overall financial sustainability of the country. In other words, if you think about a country that was already having a range of financial challenges, that was already facing challenges in bringing in sufficient government revenue to support infrastructure development, education, etc., the necessities to build a stronger economy and a stronger society, we see the mass flooding of 2022 coming in and affecting tens of millions of people around the country. And we've seen how really the lack of access to smartphones and mobile payments by a significant portion of the population limited the impact of the effectiveness of aid in the context of that crisis. And this year, we've seen a huge earthquake across Syria and Turkey, killing tens of thousands of people. And I think if we think about this combination of health events, of natural disasters, of wars, of climate change, of food shortages, of man-made disasters as well, I think what we can see is that this decade and the decades ahead of us are very likely to be characterized by increasing numbers and severities of sustainability challenges. And as we've highlighted many times, digital finance provides a potential mechanism to support resilience in the face of those crises. But as we move forward, we also need to think about how we can build greater sources of financing to adapt to crises that are coming, as well as to support the development of innovations and new technologies which can help us to rebuild energy and transportation systems in order to address many of the challenges coming forward. And when we think about the standpoint of finance, finance is central to funding both adaptation as well as resilience and innovation. And as we look forward, we have to think about not only universal access from the standpoint of building resilience, but also of generating larger amounts of funds to support innovation, change, technology, and development. And the final message, I think, is that whenever we see these sorts of crises, whether it is flooding in Pakistan or it is earthquakes in Turkey or Syria, from our own standpoints, One of the powers of digital finance is the ability to go to government or international organization websites like the UNHCR or others and actually donate money directly, electronically, which can then make its way directly to the populations in need. Digital finance provides not only tools of development and resilience, but it also provides power to each one of us to help in a crisis.